Hi everyone, today I thought that I would do a first impression of the 2019 GT Mustang, since that is what I have rented for my road trip down to Joshua Tree. I drove down here from Sonoma County, stopping in Monterey and then also in San Luis Obispo, and I'm on my way back from Joshua Tree, so I just thought that I would tell you some of the things that I've liked about the GT 2019 Mustang and some of the things that I was not expecting or not a huge fan. So one of the first things that I just love about GTs in general is the sound. I always have liked a loud exhaust, and I liked hearing them drive by and all of that. However, I was shocked by how driving on freeways, it feels like I'm in a plane. And I didn't think that I wouldn't like a loud exhaust personally. I always thought that I wanted one. But after driving on a road trip for hours and hours, I'm not sure if that is something that I would like in the future. I think that having a loud exhaust is perfect for like driving just kind of on the street and maybe like in towns where it's not you're not going over 60 miles an hour. Once you go over 60 miles an hour, I feel like it just gets this drony loud and it just feels like you're in a plane. That's basically the easiest way that I can explain it. But driving around, when you like start it, it sounds amazing. When you're stopping and starting, it sounds amazing. But just like freeway driving, not a huge fan, and that kind of disappoints me because I wasn't expecting that. So I have the mirrors, and the left-hand side has pretty like poor visibility when you just look left. However, because the mirrors have like a large one and then a smaller one, I really like how you can see perfectly, and like merging doesn't feel scary or anything like that, because I feel secure of having that mirror and able to merge safely because I know exactly who is behind me. Now, my favorite thing with this whole vehicle are the seats. The seats are so comfortable, and they have like all of the they have like lumbar support, and they have like completely adjustable everything. And I've been driving literally 6 hours a day, and I haven't found anything strange or uncomfortable about these seats. I have loved them the entire time. So I just want to take these seats, like whatever Mustang I choose, if it's not this one, if it's not a 2019, if it's not a 2017, I just want to take these seats and put them in whatever Mustang that I'm going to buy, because these seats are amazing. The other thing that I really liked about the GT package, the premium package, was all these nozzles on the bottom. They have the hazard light is one of them. They have traction control on and off. They have a steering wheel gauge where you can look at the steering wheels settings. So if I flick it, we got sport, which is kind of what I settled on just in general. And then we have a comfort one and normal. Originally, when I was test driving all these things, I thought that it was super cool to be able to switch them and use all these little tabs. But honestly, once I settled on a specific kind of setting, I haven't changed it much. So I don't know how day-to-day functional that is, except for yeah, you get to set it. One of the other things, the last ones, is the mode that you can be in. So right now we're in normal. We can go in sport mode, where as soon as you hit the gas pedal, it is very, very responsive, and I think that it's a bit louder in sport mode as well. And then when you are just cruising around downtown and then you're decelerating, it definitely revs way higher when you're in sport mode than normal. Then we can go into track mode, which they take the traction control off. We have the drag strip mode, which I never really have done that much, just because obviously it is not necessary when I'm on the freeway to be in drag strip mode. And then the last one is wet and snow, which I think is super, super cool in general. Haven't really cruised around in it because I'm literally in the desert and there is no wet or snowness. But I do think that that option is very cool in general. I just haven't used it on this trip. One of the last features I wanted to talk about, the dash, is on this little button here. It's like a computer, so if you hit that button, it says what gauge, how fast you're going. But then if you go to trip fuel, We have how many hours we've been in this car, 25 hours, 355 miles to empty, which is super cool to see like exactly how far it is if you're going to make it to your next stop before filling up on gas. Average miles per hour and how many miles I've driven on this trip, which is a little over 1,000. I kind of want to touch on all of the touch screen as well. I really like how you can see like the music and the climate, and it looks very, very fancy. I'm kind of more used to a nozzle turn for heat and air conditioning. Here you kind of like toggle up, toggle down, and you can see exactly what temperature. Like right now, what is it? We're at 70 degrees inside, and you can change it, but like I don't really know how to gauge that for my own sense. Like usually I'm just like, oh, I want it hotter, I want it colder, and I just like turn the nozzle, and knowing the exact temperature doesn't really help me. It just feels fancy, really. I wanted to talk about the trunk space a bit because I was a bit surprised that the trunk was the same size as my 2004 Mustang. I have a lot of like stuff in the back trunk right now, so I have a mat in my car that I keep just so everything doesn't slide around, and I took that mat and put it in this one, and it fit perfectly. Like it was exactly the same footprint, and I thought that maybe that mat would look small in this trunk, but it was the same size. So I was like, this is a much larger vehicle, but the trunk space is the same, and mine's pretty small. So I was a bit disappointed in the trunk space, just because I thought that maybe, oh, newer car, larger car, bigger trunk space. That was not the case. When you're looking at the speedometer, I really like how it has the options of looking at the actual speedometer, and then just has the number right in front as well. So if you're like, oh, you know, 50, it says 50 miles ahead, I'm going this much, and it's like, is it 53, is it 49, is it 48? You can tell exactly how fast you're going, instead of kind of like, I don't know, estimating it, or just kind of saying, oh yeah, I'm going about this much, or I'm going about this much. Like, you know, to the degree, how fast you're going. One of the things that I like about this model is that you can change all of the gauge colors. So I've changed it to like the ring around the speedometer is like this nice purple, and then the actual speedometer colors are white. And then I went ahead and changed all of the lights on the inside. So the cup holders have lights, the Mustang deck panel has lights, and I changed those to blue, I believe. It's like a light blue. And there's a whole bunch of colors that you can choose from, just to kind of personalize it, which I think is very fun. I also want to talk about the two like cigarette lighter ports for charging phones and putting anything in there as well. So I was impressed by the two ports to be able to charge like two phones, or put in a GPS, or put in a radar detector, something in one of the ports, and then the other one you could also be charging your phone at the same time, so you don't have to kind of like share ports, which I thought was very nice, because if you're trying to do two things at once, you can't in a normal vehicle, or at least in mine. I just have the one port, so I like having the option of having both of those. Thank you so much for watching this 2019 GT Mustang review. I did hope you enjoyed it. If you have not seen some of my other vlog type videos, I have been filming this whole trip, so I will link that down below, as well as any like car events, car shows that I go to. I'll leave that playlist down below as well if you want to go and check that out. Otherwise, I'll see you in a future video. Bye.